Hello, everyone. I have an E60 Mike Tyson interview to discuss. And let's see, I'll start with a big revelation of the interview from the start that Mike Tyson admitted that he was molested as a kid. He has two books out, but I don't think he's so desperate for money that he would reveal this just to sell books. He's been in movies, he's been on Broadway talking to the people, and been interviewed a number of times. But this was a bombshell. Now, he brought it up and didn't want to elaborate too much, but he did say he was molested. Now, ironically enough, Sugar Ray Leonard had also said that he was molested, but I believe he said it was one of the trainers. Now, at one time, as a young fighter, Ray was pretty strong, I would think, for an older man to do that to him, but I guess anything is possible. Let's see what else. They said that Mike's mother died of cancer early in his life. The interview didn't make it clear whether this was his biological mother or his adopted mother. And Cus D'Amato, a famed boxing trainer, had adopted Mike. Now, I didn't realize that it had been such a long time since Cus D'Amato had managed a champion by the time he got a hold of Mike. That was revealed in this interview and profile. They had mentioned that, of course, he had trained the previous youngest fighter to win the heavyweight championship, Floyd Patterson. And then they said that he had also trained Jose Torres to the light heavyweight championship. Now, Jose Torres was pretty critical of Ali and said that he was El Dopa, though Ali had said that he had abused prescription medicine of some sort. And of course, he had lost a lot of weight before he was to fight Larry Holmes very late in Ali's career. And my father took me to see that over at the Capitol Center at the on closed circuit TV out in Landover, Maryland, and he kept saying Ali was not sweating. He said there's something wrong with him. And of course, Ali was TKO'd in the 10th round. There was obviously something was wrong. Let's see. And then the interviewer asked if Cus was just trying to get one last shot of a champion or trying to help or have concern for Mike. And Mike said both, which in general, Jesse Jackson Sr. speaks of not either or, but both and. And this was interesting as well, because some people have tried to say that, well, Cus was only looking out for himself. Apparently, Cus owned his home. He was doing well enough to help with all the young men on the way. His place in boxing history was secure. Now, Cus also did a movie starred in a documentary with Muhammad Ali, and the movie was called AKA Cassius Clay. You can probably get it on YouTube. And I had seen a clip on YouTube where Cuss was analyzing Ali's progress on his way back to fighting for a championship, and he was really breaking down what he was seeing and basically felt that Frazier would beat Ali. Let's see. They mentioned that Tyson was at Cus D'Amato's deathbed. Now, I either never knew this or forgot it, and they said that Cus had told him to continue fighting or he would come back and haunt him. So this was a very good interview and profile. It revealed some good information. They did mention that Mike has 2 books out now, one of which was his life with Cus D'Amato. Let's see. What are they? Oh, now Tyson talked about we want to be strong to overcome our childhood problems, and in so many words spoke about our childhood can make or break us, which is a very insightful thing to say. Tyson also had said that everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth, which was very insightful as well. Ali was quoted as saying, "Don't count the days, make the days count." And Olivia Pope's character on the Scandal TV show had her father tell her that she was smarter than him, but he was wiser. And, you know, that's important. A person can have wisdom without being academically equipped, or even have value as a human being if one doesn't have the money that someone else has. Let's see. Then they said that Tyson's 8-year-old daughter was doing quite well with tennis for her age group, and they said that Mike Agassi, I believe they said he was the father of famed tennis player Andre Agassi, was teaching Tyson's daughter. Now it'll be interesting to see if maybe Tyson's daughter won't be as showy as Venus Williams in particular. There are really not too many tennis players out there in terms of showing their pantyhose all the time, look like see-through, and and all of that. So we'll see. Let's see. So since I've talked about the interview, I like to mention some other things after I deal with the main topic. I've been criticized for jumping all over the place. But now with the OJ trial, many were saying that they had to let OJ go based on the point system or whatever. But I hear that that's not necessarily the case. They have to look at, I understand, whether the person is a danger to society. And OJ had said that he had never been accused of using a weapon against anyone. He isn't one to fight. He did get, the media said, convicted of beating his wife when he pled no contest. And I was talking to someone that was trying to say that, well, if he said no contest, Well, if it was that simple, if that meant you weren't convicted, you could simply say, anyone could say no contest, and that would be the end of it. But I think that's listed as a conviction. Um, but one needs to be careful, who one chooses to discuss things with. Um, and then, of course, he was held liable in the civil case for the murder of his wife. Now, this was a very long time ago, and other than maybe those things, I don't think we hear too much about OJ having violence problems, other than the girlfriend that he had after he was acquitted had called the police on OJ a number of times. So I guess theoretically they could have said that, well, you're a danger to society, but these things were a long time ago, and they were like domestic issues. And then, of course, the fact that he has a football pension and an actor's pension to help sustain him once he gets out of jail. Now, they were discussing about, I guess, or it was mentioned about he had family to go to, but if you've got money, enough money to sustain you, I don't know that it should really matter about if you've got family or not. Now, if you're a person that's basically indigent, I could see that might make a difference, but it certainly is a plus. And OJ has that, he said, in terms of his children. And some were saying about, well, OJ said he would never pull a gun on anyone, but somebody was saying that, well, you could hear him on the tape talking to the people that had the gun and whatnot. And even OJ's friend had said that he had recommended 1 to 3 years. OJ's friend that testified on OJ's behalf at the parole hearing. So I'm not saying OJ shouldn't have got out. I mean, they say he was a model prisoner and he scored very low on the criteria to be let out. And I'm glad to see that he will be out. Man, setting boundaries is important. I had someone knocking on my door. I told him I wasn't dressed. I'd come to see him. I clearly didn't know who he was, so I'll figure out if I want to tap on his door and ask him not to knock on my door. Sometimes people, get offended when you say things like that, but at the same time, I like to have some peace in, my apartment here. And I've heard people say, well, don't answer the door. Well, sometimes you might get woken up. If you're not thinking ahead of time, you can be distracted. Maybe force of habit might have you answer, or you may want to just answer to try to make it clear to somebody that you don't want this to happen. So I'll figure that out. But in general, it's important to set boundaries. I think that's about all that I have to say. Let's see. You probably can get this interview on YouTube, maybe on demand for you cable subscribers out there. It's well worth listening to. And the gentleman was very sensitive to Mike Tyson, and he wasn't going to press about Mike's molestation and whatnot, which was considerate. Some of these interviewers can be pretty brutal. And of course, sometimes people walk off of the interviews and whatnot. Trying to cut this off. Oh man. See, I have the magnification off, and these glasses are